This is the News Underlings podcast with Noah and Jeanette.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of News Underlings. I'm your host, Jeanette, and I'm joined by my co-host, Noah.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. This week, we are doing another Myth Legends special
Episode.
Woo!
So this is number 20.
This is our number 20. So to clarify, and the same with number 10, every 10 episodes, we will do what we call Myth Legends or Midgens episode.
Midgens.
It is the more unusual, more unknown, and more mythical, more legendary aspect of our world. It's stuff that can't be proven, but it's still part of our world. So we want to talk about it. This week, I wanted to do something because it's my week to present.
Yeah, I have no idea what we're going to talk about.
Yes, this week I wanted to do something a little bit different. I know we're still in the early days, but I have a huge love for this topic in general.
Of Midgens?
No, this topic I'm bringing to the Midgens.
Okay.
It is called SCP, which I'm sure none of our fans really know what that is. It's not.
I don't know what that is.
I know it's not well known unless you're looking for it, in my opinion. SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. It is basically about cryptids that people have added to a very long list over the years. They make their own stories up. Each SCP has a number. So it's basically made up cryptids.
Oh, okay. So these are
not based on fact.
People aren't claiming to have really seen these things. They're
Correct.
Just fiction. Okay.
But it's still a part of our world. And I wanted to talk about it because it was quite a extensive collection of the art books.
How much did you pay for that book set? Because that looks like it was really expensive.
It was on Kickstarter, and I do not remember how much I paid for it. I don't think it was that much.
Okay.
I did go up in the levels.
He can't say everybody because his wife might listen.
Yeah, you're right about that. So we're going to go over basically what it is, where you can find it, and I'm going to talk about kind of a few of the ones I'm more familiar with. So originally, SCP has started out as an online thread on Wikipedia, I believe. It has its own Wikipedia. It was started as just a horror story or a creepypasta. Do you know what a creepypasta is?
Yeah.
Okay. It started basically as a creepypasta. For those who don't know what a creepypasta is, it's basically a horror story online.
Uh-huh. Isn't that how the Slender Man got started?
Yes, exactly. And it's the same with this. So it started out as a thread on the internet. People added. It's all free domain. You just add what you want. It's a very lovely group. They are all friendly. Everyone shares what they have. That's the whole point of SCP is you can add whatever you want and it'll be accepted.
Is this a video game?
It was adapted into a couple video games.
Okay.
There are
was it
3
the
or
one
4 that I know of.
You used to play that was like in this facility and you had to find your way out? And there are different. What really freaked me out about that game was the teddy bear.
Oh, I was about to talk about the teddy bear. So the video game that she is referring to, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's just called SCP Foundation or something.
I thought it was, yeah, that's the only reason I recognize this at all.
You start as a prisoner or a test subject. That's usually how the games start. You're a test subject. And you go into this room with this creature who I will get to in a minute. I don't have the story on hand about that one, but I do know about it. Essentially, this creature is concrete and it's a statue. And if you look away...
Oh, yeah, kind of like the angels
Weeping Angels from Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, yeah.
If you look away, it snaps your neck.
It snaps your neck?
Snaps your neck.
How do you know it snaps? Does it show it?
Other people die around you.
Oh, and you see that happening?
Yes.
That's how you know.
The lights flicker off and on. The power's going out. The lights flicker off and on. And like in the dark, you can't see it. So it kills the other 2 inmates that are with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first one.
It's the first one you see in the video game.
So can you kill it? No, you can't
A
kill
lot of
it?
these things you can't destroy.
You just have to back away out of the room looking at it?
Pretty much, no, it disappears. And then you have to find your way out of the facility while it's somewhere there.
Oh.
And the teddy bear you mentioned.
So you just show up randomly wherever you are?
It could.
Okay.
So the teddy bear you mentioned was, and of course there are other creatures as well, but the teddy bear is one of my personal favorites. It's made of human ears. And it produces...
I did not notice that.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to tell because it's small.
Yeah.
It produces a frequency so high, it basically deafens you until you bleed out from your ears.
Oh.
And that's the teddy bear.
I just remember seeing the teddy bear, and when you would play it, when you saw that, you'd start cussing.
Because it was scary. It's a very scary game.
So somebody made that up. That's like in this
mythological universe.
Okay.
Someone wrote the story of the teddy bear made of human ears. Someone wrote the story of the SCP. I can't remember the number. They all have numbers, but the concrete creature that breaks your neck.
I have never tried to just make up a scary story on my own. I do like, I'm a big Stephen King fan. I do like scary stories. Actually, we're recording this in August, but I was just talking about this with my friend at work, Allie. She was, we were talking about how it's like, they were calling it Ogtober. I forgot how she put it.
Ogtober.
Something like that.
I see. No, I get that.
Because like Halloween stuff is already out.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at some stuff at the store yesterday that was horror themed.
Yeah, we're definitely big horror fans. We might have to play some of the SCP games on our YouTube channel.
I'm not a big horror movie person, though. No, I mean, I have... The ones I like are more psychological, I guess. Like my favorite one's The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
It's also my favorite book by Stephen King. But
well, that's another thing. Is it a horror or is it a thriller?
I would call that... I don't know. Because there is some dead body things happening. The book was much scarier, in my opinion.
Is it psychological?
Yeah. Making
it a thriller or a psychological horror?
Well, I would say psychological horror, but Stephen King's good at that.
Mm-hmm.
I think what really freaks me out about it is how alone you feel because they're kind of trapped.
Right. It's the three of them.
I just like those movies better. We talked about The Thing before. I like The Thing. And that's same scenario. They're trapped. They can't go anywhere. And I kind of like that Cabin in the Woods movie. Have you ever seen that?
I have. It's hilarious, first of all.
I love that movie.
With Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And
he dies. Oh, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Skip ahead. The Cabin in the Woods is hilarious in my opinion.
I haven't seen that one in a while. I won't watch that one again.
It's got Sigourney Weaver in it as well, who I love personally. But anyways, back to our story. I'm going to go over real quick some of the lore of SCP. So everything has a class. So all anomalous objects, entities, and phenomena requiring special containment procedures are assigned an object class. Object class is a part of the standard SCP template and serves as a rough indicator for how difficult an object is to contain. In universe, object classes are for the purposes of identifying containment needs, research priority, budgeting, and other considerations. So it's determined by a number of factors, but it's most importantly difficulty and purpose of its containment. So to clarify, there are 4 classes: Safe, Euclid, Keter, and Thaumiel.
Did somebody make up those words?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything that you're reading is fictitious. Someone made it up.
Keter?
Keter. We'll get to Keter.
That just sounds like they took a word that started with a P and just put another letter in.
That's rude.
Is that how it's spelled?
Yes. I believe that these have actual meanings, but I don't know them.
Sure.
Euclid? I'm pretty sure that's a word. Fact check.
Is it spelled with an E or a U?
Euclid. Euclid.
Okay. Ancient Greek mathematician. Okay. So it's somebody's name. It translates to glorious or renowned. This name is a lovely choice to remind your little one of the rich, marvelous destiny. Okay. So that came out of a baby book. So it sounds like it's a name.
What about Keter? Keter. Stop it.
Well, apparently it's a brand of a shed. Keter is the leading provider of quality sheds.
Okay, so these are somewhat made up names.
Okay, Keter is a Hebrew word translating to crown.
Okay.
Anything else?
Thaumiel. Thaumiel.
Oh, another Hebrew thing. So
I wonder if
Thaumiel
they're
is
all
like Keter, named after content of the Kabbalah.
I wonder if they're all Hebrew names.
The shadow of the tree of life.
Oh, okay.
That's a Kabbalah thing. Yeah, you don't hear about that much.
No, not really. But like I said, a lot of this is just, it's made up. So I wonder if they picked these words specifically because they have some they know something about the Hebrew language.
Well, according to Reddit.
Oh, it's according to Reddit.
While Keter is concerned with the unity of God, Thaumiel, is that how you say that?
Thaumiel.
Thaumiel represents the dual contending forces and struggling.
Okay.
Is there a two-headed person in that?
Oh, I'm sure someone's written a two-headed person.
Okay, because it says it's represented by two giant heads.
Oh, okay. Well, back to the story.
Sure.
So, like I said, there's 4 classes: Safe, Euclid, Keter, Thaumiel, which we have just learned is mostly Hebrew. But Safe, there is a locked box test for each of these. To clarify, if you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and nothing bad will happen, then it's probably safe. So each of these,
What?
if each of these has a locked box safe test,
What does that mean exactly?
I'll explain as we go through the levels.
Okay.
So like I said, 4 levels. Safe class SCPs are anomalies that are easily and safely contained. This is often due to the fact that the Foundation has researched the SCP well enough that containment does not require significant resources, or that the anomalies require a specific and conscious activation or trigger. So there are, and we'll go through a couple, like I said, later. I think I did pick one that is safe, but there is objects or creatures that are considered safe. They don't have any negative outcome, and that's what qualifies them as safe. You can put it in a box and nothing's going to happen. One of
Objects.
Objects. Well,
So if
creatures as well.
So if you put it in the safe and what?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you put it in the safe and it's not safe, or if you put it in a box and it's not safe,
Then you become Euclid or Keter Thaumiel. Euclid, if you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and you're not entirely sure what will happen, it's probably Euclid. Euclid class SCPs are anomalies that require more resources to contain completely, or where containment isn't always reliable. Usually, this is because the SCP is insufficiently understood or inherently unpredictable. Euclid is the object class with the greatest scope, and it's usually a safe bet that an SCP will be this class if it doesn't easily fall into any of the other standard object classes. Any SCP that's autonomous, sentient, and sapient is generally classified as Euclid due to its inherent ability to think on its own. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have safe, you have Euclid. Euclid, you're not sure what's going to happen if you put it in a locked box. Keter, we're starting to get up the danger chart. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and it easily escapes, probably Keter. Keter class SCPs are anomalies that are exceedingly difficult to contain consistently or reliably, with containment procedures often being extensive and complex. The Foundation often can't contain these SCPs well due to not having a solid understanding of the anomaly, or lacking the technology to properly contain or counter it. It does not mean it's dangerous, just that it is simply very difficult or costly to contain. So obviously, this is written from a standpoint of you work for the Foundation. So you're reading this as an employee.
a manual.
Or it's a manual. Yeah. Exactly. So now we'll go to Thaumiel. If it is the box, it's probably Thaumiel.
If it is the box.
If it is the box,
Okay.
it's probably Thaumiel. Thaumial class SCPs are anomalies that the Foundation specifically uses to contain other SCPs. Even the mere existence of Thaumial class objects is classified at the highest levels of the Foundation and their locations. Functions and current status are known to few Foundation personnel outside of the O5 Council. The O5 Council basically runs the SCP Foundation. But those are the 4 classes. You have Safe, so probably nothing's going to happen. Euclid, you're not sure what's going to happen. Keter, it's probably going to get out and it's probably going to cause havoc. And Thaumial, it's going to contain other things. First one I wanted to talk about, one of my personal favorites, and I think a lot of people know this one, is the Plague Doctor, SCP-049. The Plague Doctor is a humanoid entity, roughly 1.9 meters in height, which bears the appearance of a medieval plague doctor.
1.9 meters in height.
Mm-hmm.
So just under 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's kind of tall. While SCP-049 appears to be wearing the thick robes and the ceramic masks indicative of that profession, the garments instead seem to have grown out of SCP's body over time and are now nearly indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath them. X-rays indicate that despite this, SCP-049 does have a humanoid skeleton structure beneath its outer layer.
Okay, so the beak is like part of it. You know, because a plague doctor, that's a mask.
Right. So a plague doctor, the mask, it's very creepy looking, but it does serve a purpose. There's usually flowers in the end of the nose because plague doctors would deal with patients who had the Black Plague and other diseases like lepers.
Yeah, and the smell wasn't that great.
Exactly. So they usually put flowers in the end of the nose to counteract that.
Well, I think, too, there are some plants and herbs and stuff that they thought would help protect them.
Right, exactly. That too. And, of course, the mask is, like, supposed to protect them in general. But this SCP has apparently grown its own mask out of its face. It is capable of speech in a variety of languages, though tends to prefer English or medieval French.
Medieval French?
Medieval French. The entity claims to have originated in 15th century France, though admits that it is particularly well-traveled. So it's very intelligent. While SCP-049 is generally cordial and cooperative with Foundation staff, it can become especially irritated or at times outright aggressive if it feels that it is in the presence of what it calls the pestilence. Although the exact nature of this pestilence is currently unknown to the Foundation researchers, it does seem to be an issue of immense concern to SCP-049. So this SCP, the Plague Doctor, essentially is a very intelligent man, ? We're not sure what he is. But he's going on about this pestilence.
So is this set up as like a good guy? I mean, it's obviously, if it's a plague doctor, it wants to get rid of things that kill you, right? No?
Depends on which version of SCP-049 you read. I'm sure you could look at it as he is a nice guy. However, you should know that he does have a bit of supernatural abilities. For instance, he can create SCP-049-2s. These instances are reanimated corpses that have been operated on by the Plague Doctor. They do not seem to retain any of their prior memories or mental functions, having only basic motor skills and response mechanisms.
Oh, zombies.
Exactly. So he can create zombies. And he often remarks that the subjects have been cured of the pestilence. So another thing that he can do, to my knowledge, is...
Well, I think the interesting question becomes, what does he consider petulance?
That is another problem.
Is it just like free will and thinking? Because that could be terrifying.
I'm assuming, because it doesn't exactly say what the pestilence is, but I'm assuming that he has a sense for who has the pestilence. As it reads, the Plague Doctor will become hostile with individuals it sees as being affected by the pestilence, often having to be restrained should it encounter such. If left unchecked, will generally attempt to kill any such individual. SCP-049 is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease directly through skin contact. So that's the ability I was talking about. He can touch you and you can cease to have brain function.
Just from touching you, huh?
Just from skin contact. So like I said, a lot of these are scary. It's a scary theme.
It's scary.
It's scary. It's scary.
You're making me want to go home and like read some scary stuff.
Oh, this is a family-friendly show, man. We do not say that word.
I don't know. Maybe watch a scary movie. I don't know. I told you I'm not really big into scary movies, but I got lots of scary books.
Watch Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods.
SCP-025, which is considered safe. SCP-025, or a well-worn wardrobe, is its title.
A what?
A well-worn wardrobe.
So it's clothes?
Well, I'll get to that. SCP-025 is a wooden wardrobe measuring 0.97 meters by 0.62 meters by 1.95 meters, full of clothing dating from a number of time periods. Articles contained within the chest, collectively named SCP-025-1.
Okay. So you meant the wardrobe as in the cabinet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Articles contained within the chest match the styles of decades from the 1920s to the present. The apparel from each time frame varies with regard to style. For example, a polyester striped shirt and pair of charcoal suit pants both correspond with general styles of the 1970s.
So there's a flapper dress in there?
Probably.
It goes all the way back to the 20s.
When any item from SCP-025 is put on, the wearer is observed either to die or suffer an injury.
Now, does that, like, if you put any kind of clothing in there, will it affect the clothing?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question.
Like, if you take off your shoes and put them in there and then you put your shoes back on, will you die?
Further testing is needed.
So they don't know.
They don't know.
Is it just a magical wardrobe that came with its own clothes?
I'm assuming so. I'm assuming that all the clothes are still in there.
Or has it just been killing people since the 20s?
That's also possible. So we actually have a test subject that they used. Test subject D778, a 42-year-old white male. He wore a 1940s era white tuxedo, torn seam in the left shoulder. So the clothes are imperfect. And I'm assuming that's where these injuries or death come from. Test results. The subject was allowed free roam of the halls under Agent Redacted supervision for approximately 45 minutes. Nothing eventful occurred, however, at Redacted. Security tapes and eyewitnesses indicate that D778, or the test subject, appeared to make an attempt at attacking an agent. He in turn overcame the subject with a knife, causing an inch-deep gash in D778's left shoulder, precisely at the point where the tuxedo's seam was ripped. Test halted. Subject later terminated. Okay. So this gentleman put on a white suit that had a tear in the left shoulder. And after some time, it says within 24 hours, he must have had some crazy vision or an impulse caused by the suit that caused him to be injured in a way that the suit was already injured. And keep in mind, this is classified as safe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do one more. I wanted to do the stairwell. We might talk about that off the show.
A haunted stairwell?
It's not haunted. It's just a stairwell. We might have that as a little extra bit. Another one of my favorites. SCP.
You have a lot of favorites, don't you?
Oh, of course. I know what I like. SCP-939, titled With Many Voices. SCP-939-1-3-19-53-89-96-98-99 and -109 are kept in cell 1163-A or 1163-B.
Okay. Sounds like a lot of nonsense.
No, it sounds like a lot of nonsense. These are classified as Keter. So these are all the same creature, but there's
many.
There's 8 of them. SCP-939 are endothermic pack-based predators, which display atrophy of various systems similar to troglodytic organisms. The skins of SCP-939 are highly permeable to moisture and translucent red, owing to a compound chemically similar to hemoglobin. They average height at 2.2 meters, standing upright, and weigh an average of 250 kilograms. The weight is highly variable. Each of their 4 limbs end in 3-fingered claws with a 4th opposable digit, and are covered in setae, which considerably augment climbing ability. Their heads are elongated, devoid of even vestigial eyes or eye sockets, and contain no brain casing.
They're covered in what?
Setae.
Setae.
It's like a mucus.
Ew.
Yeah. The jaws of SCP-939 are lined with red, faintly luminescent, fang-like teeth, similar to those belonging to specimens of the genus Caudalis.
Okay.
They do not possess many vital organ systems. Central and peripheral nervous systems, circulatory system, and digestive tract are all absent. The respiratory system is atrophied and serves no apparent purpose beyond spreading a disease, which I will not name because it's weirdly titled. So this is the part, and they are in the video game that we talked about earlier. They're in the basement. And like I said, there's like 8 of them. SCP-939's primary method of luring prey is the imitation of human speech in the voices of prior victims. Though imitation of other species and active nocturnal hunts have been documented, SCP-939 vocalizations often imply significant distress. So in short...
So they mimic people, so you come to the rescue?
Exactly. And then they eat you. They
eat you?
Yes.
With their slime-covered bodies?
Yes. In the video game, they're disgusting. In the video game that I played, and you have watched me play quite a few times.
I'm a watcher of the playing of video games, not a good player.
If we do ever play video games, they will show up on our YouTube channel. It will be me playing and Jeanette freaking out.
Commenting, yeah.
But in short, in the video game, these creatures would be screaming in pain. These blood-curdling, like, help me. Oh, dear God, please help. It's coming. It's got me. It's eating me. You're supposed to go save that person.
It's eating me?
Yeah. It'll say stuff like that. And you go to this person's rescue, and this person will not be there. It will be this dog-like creature with, as I described, elongated face, mucus-like skin, sharp red luminescent fangs, and it will kill you and eat you.
So is it one of those things that if you see it, you're dead? Like if you see it, you know you're already dead?
It's a Keter class. It's easily able to escape rooms, and it hunts humans. It's a pack-like dog creature. So that's some of my picks out of this book. We may have to revisit the subject at a later date. We'll see about doing a bonus episode about the stairwell, because I think that one's really interesting.
Crap that's in that book.
Yeah, I have 3 of these books. They range from yellow, red, and black.
Any significance to the color?
I believe it has to do with level of classification.
I know we talked a lot about these books, but know that we are not sponsored.
No, this like I said in the beginning, this is all fictitious. You could go online and find these articles on this exact stuff that I read. I just happen to have the books. These books were made by Parabooks. So feel free to look them up, parabooks.com. I don't believe you can get these books anymore. This was a limited time Kickstarter that I funded because I really like SCP.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Leave us a comment below or send us a message to newsunderlings.com.
You can follow us on Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, X, and Facebook. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the News Underlings podcast. Be sure to check out other episodes of this podcast when Noah and Jeanette will once again explore the weird and bizarre right here on the News Underlings podcast.